When I found this Hamilton watch, I thought I may have found the perfect Hamilton watch for me. But has it lived up to my expectations? Hello, you're watching James. My name's James. You're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. And today, I'm talking about a Hamilton watch that I'd never seen before. I hadn't seen it come up on any of the searches that I'd looked at before until one day when I was looking through Ashford.com. That's one of those websites that I look through rather frequently because they have some really good watches at really good prices. And when I saw it on Ashford.com, I thought, wow, now that is a good looking Hamilton. Now, I did some research into this watch, and on Hamilton website itself, the recommended retail price is over $1,000 US, which I thought, ooh, that's a little bit too much money for this watch. So of course I did not pay $1,000 US. I paid less than $420 US from Ashford.com. Now, I did put a lot of time into trying to find the best price for this watch, and I ended up coming back to Ashford. I do mention them a lot because they tend to be the cheapest place to find watches if they have that particular watch. If, however, you are interested in this one, well, I'll leave a link to Ashford.com. However, if you can find it cheaper elsewhere, make sure you always get the best price that you can. Now, there was a couple of reasons why I thought this watch looked so cool. It was partly because of just the general looks. Beautiful silver dial, hints of blue, but it was the dimensions of the watch that really grabbed me. One of the problems that I have with Hamilton watches is that they don't seem to have the dimensions that I want. They're either slightly too small or slightly too big. Now, not to take away from the watches, I do like Hamilton watches, I own other Hamilton watches, but that sweet spot of case dimension seems to elude me from Hamilton. This one has those sweet spot dimensions. And at this sort of price range, I thought it was quite good. And I do want to talk about that price, that sort of Ashford.com pricing, but I'm going to leave that to the end of the video. For now, let's flip the camera, let's do my full review of my Hamilton RailRoad. So when you buy watches from Ashford, you tend to not get the full packaging. I think it's partly to do with cost savings, which is then passed on to you. But on paper, this Hamilton American Classic RailRoad H40555781 has a lot to offer, because not only is it a really good looking watch, but it contains the H10 caliber with 80 hours of power reserve, sapphire crystal. It's only got 50 meters of water resistance, but I think this sort of dressy style, that's perfectly okay. Does, however, come with a hang tag, as you can see the reference number there, as well as a 2-year international warranty. Now, there's two variations of this watch. There's the silver dial with the blue accents on the black leather, this one here obviously, and then there's the black dial with red accents on a bracelet. Now, I'm always drawn to a silver dial, especially when there's blue accents. That blue and silver together, I think, works really, really well. But no matter which one you decide to choose on, if you decide to buy one of these watches, it's the dimensions that really make a big difference about this watch. Because the case itself is 39.7 millimeters. The width of the watch is 11.6 millimeters. The lug to lug is 47 millimeters. Lug width is 20 millimeters, and this one here on this leather supplied strap is 83 grams. And those dimensions are something that really stands out because they're a lovely set of dimensions, but it goes beyond that in regards to how it feels on wrist, and I'll talk about that shortly. That silver sunburst is really pretty. It really sort of radiates out and really jumps off the dial. And then we've got the markings that are on there in black around the outside. It's like a railway track with a minute and seconds. We've got a sort of number trap around the outside as well. Inside here, we've got another sort of track of numbers and a railway track there, as you can see, with the sort of minute markers. And that is in blue. And that is really nice because then that links in with that really blue second hand there. Then we've got applied indices, all polished and really long. It's a real sort of feature of this watch, those really long applied indices, all polished and all polished hands as well, which are really nice. Now, having that lovely silver dial and those lovely polished silver hands does take away from the legibility a little bit, unfortunately, but I guess that's not the reason to buy this particular watch. We can obviously see that there is a date window there at the 3 o'clock. It's a white disc with black typing on it, but what is also really nice about this watch is that really nice, very subtle double-domed sapphire crystal. A really nice crystal, which is absolutely lovely. Now, there's no lume on this watch whatsoever, so we're not going to be bothering doing a lume shot, but that leads me into my favorite part about this whole watch, and that is actually the case. We've got a polished solid bezel there, leading into brushed tops of those lugs, and you'll probably see that there's a little step down there on the lugs, which is a really nice feature. And you'll also see with that sort of direction that I'm holding the watch now, how much of a bulge there is on the case there. That sort of style, that sort of bend there makes it really comfortable, but it also makes it look really nice. Got a vertical brushing on that side profile there, a little bit of downturn, which is nice. And with those lug-to-lug dimensions of 47, a little bit of downturn with that bulging being all brushed, it's really comfortable on wrist. Now we have the signed crown there with the Hamilton H, which looks nice. It is not screw down, which is probably one of the reasons why it's only 50 meters of water resistance, but being the H10 caliber, it is hand winding and it also does have hacking. And when you do flip the watch over, you can see through the see-through case back at that really nice looking H10 movement. It's a good looking movement. It actually has a really nice look to it, especially with that sort of customized Hamilton sort of skeletonized rotor there. You can see the rest of the case back there has some information. It is polished and it is screw on. And as you can see there's quite a good set of figures there, beating at 21,600 vibrations per hour, virtually no beat error, nice healthy amplitude, and running just below 0. And on wrist, that's about how I'm sort of been noticing this watch running, at around about 0 to be honest. So it's been a really good watch to wear on wrist, holding really good time. Now the black leather strap is really good quality, feels really nice actually. Got that sort of bulge down to the center there, has that sort of faux croc sort of stamped on it, but it's genuine leather being Hamilton, so good quality. The only problem I have with it is that black with that silver dial. I just don't feel that it works really well, which is why I probably haven't been wearing it much on this. I did give it some time on this strap so that I'd sort of wear it in and see how I'd fit in with it, but I've ended up wearing it on something else. And the only disappointing factor of wearing it on something else is that I haven't been able to use this clasp. This deployment clasp is probably the best deployment clasp I have ever experienced. Hamilton written on there, you can see it's almost the Hamilton H, double pusher, really nice internals there. Just some of the best quality deployment clasp I've actually come across. And as you can see, I did actually wear it enough to wear it in, and it is very comfortable, and it does fit nicely and sit nicely on wrist, especially those case diameters and dimensions there. One of the best and nicest watches on wrist that I've actually experienced. Very, very comfortable, nice weight, and really comfy. And I think it's really comfy partially because of that case shape, but also the dimensions. But I haven't been wearing it on this one. Let me show you what I've been wearing it on. I've been wearing it on my Artem sailcloth strap. And check out the color. It's this nice deep blue. And it just matches in perfectly with that dial. It's like this strap has been made for it. Bit of dark blue leading into the silver and the blue accents. Absolutely perfect. Really, I think Hamilton should have released this one on a dark blue strap. But I'm okay. I've got my Artem strap. It's beautiful quality. And it looks absolutely fantastic with this watch. So what do I like about this one? What don't I like about it? And what would I change? Well, I'm going to start with the looks because it is a good looking watch. Love that silver sunburst dial. But it's the case that is the standout feature for me. I like this dimensions, but I like this bulging side. I like that step down, and that's such a cool feature. I wish more watches had something a little bit special like that, and I like how comfortable it is on wrist. I'm a big fan of that H10 caliber as well. The deployment class that comes on the original strap is outstanding, and it's just a really nice watch to wear on wrist. What don't I like about it? Well, it's not exactly the most legible watch. It's a little bit hard to read. And that original strap, even though it comes with an amazing deployment clasp, is probably not my favorite in regards to looks. Quality is good, but looks. So what would I change? Well, I've already changed the strap out. And I guess it would be nice to probably have a slightly easier to read dial somehow. I'm not sure perhaps changing those hands. I think that might ruin this watch, but I guess legibility is a little bit of an issue. It would also be nice to have a little bit more water resistance because 50 meters is quite low. I think it'd be quite easy to have 100 meters. But I want to talk a bit more about the price because at full recommended retail price, this is over $1,000 US, which sounds like a lot of money. Obviously, I didn't pay that. I paid less than $460 US. But let's flip the camera and let's talk about those prices. Now, this one at over $1,000 US, the full RRP from Hamilton themselves, I think that's a little bit too much money. For that sort of money, I think there's other watches out there that I would prefer to buy. But at the actual price of around about $400 US or just over, initially I thought, wow, that's actually really well priced, especially when you consider from the brand that it's from, the quality of it, the look of it, and the movement in it. So before I even pressed that buy it now button, I was fairly happy with that price. And when the watch actually arrived, I was even happier with that price because the quality of this watch, the look of this watch, how it feels on wrists, and that particular case, it's outstanding. So I was then very happy with it. If I was to buy something else with that same sort of money, with that same sort of styling, to be honest, I'd probably still be looking at Hamilton. I'd be looking at other Hamilton watches. So I think if you like the look of this watch and it's within your budget it's definitely worthwhile considering. And guys, if you really enjoyed this watch, and I think you should because I really enjoy this watch too, maybe you'll enjoy these videos.